Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted it to be another little sit down chit chat video. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about longevity and why I think it is really important and why I think sometimes it's not that important. So let's go. Now the reason why I wanted to talk about this is for a few reasons actually. The first reason is whenever I post photos on Instagram or talk to you guys about fragrances, one of the comments and questions I get a lot is, how does this fragrance perform? And I've also noticed when it comes down to people deciding to purchase a fragrance, sometimes longevity is the reason they will or will not purchase a fragrance that they love. If it doesn't last a long time, but it's something that they really enjoy the smell of, they won't buy it, and then vice versa. Maybe it's not their favorite scent in the world, but it does a good job, but it lasts a long time, so they're like, you know what, it has really good longevity and it smells okay, so I'm gonna buy it. And I kind of wanted to talk about this. Now, again, disclaimer, these are my own opinions, but for me personally, longevity isn't a huge issue. I have a minimum amount of time that I would hope a fragrance lasts on my skin. And if you guys don't know, I always say it, I live in the tropics, I live in South Florida. It's ridiculously humid and very hot and also very rainy during the summer. So I always hope for 4 to 6 hours for my fragrances to last, and that can be in the summer, in the winter, in the fall, in the spring. 4 to 6 hours is what I normally hope for, and I've noticed that 4 to 6 hours to me, for other people, is 6 to 8 or 8 to 10. But I'm not going to sit here and say 6 to 8, 8 to 10, I'm going to say 4 to 6. Now, there are some fragrances and price points where I think that longevity is a really huge reason to buy or not to buy. If you're buying a luxury fragrance, specifically not a fresh, musky, light luxury fragrance, think of some of Francis Crick John's fragrances. He's ridiculously well known for his musky florals. If you're doing something that's a little bit heavier, something that's a little bit more complex, something that's more appropriate for the evening, I would expect for luxury prices for those fragrances to last, at least on my skin, 6 hours. If they're only lasting about 4, there's something about that fragrance that doesn't work on my skin, and to me it's just the balance of the composition and the chemistry of it is off, and so I'm like, I'm not going to invest my money in that. There are individual cases where I love the smell of a fragrance so much I do not care. But when it comes down to fresh fragrances, when it comes down to daytime fragrances, citrus-based fragrances, things like that, I don't really at all assume longevity is an issue, and it doesn't factor into me buying a fragrance or not buying a fragrance. Now that doesn't mean that everyone needs to think that way, but just because I live in an environment where I perspire a lot, it's very hot and humid, I don't expect really light, effervescent, fresh daytime appropriate scents to last on my skin a long time. They're just not really designed in the composition and in the notes to really stick on somebody's skin for a long time. Now that doesn't mean that those fragrances don't last on my skin a long time. There are definitely fresh citrus scents that last on my skin for 8 to 10 hours, but it's not something that I look for, and it's not a deciding factor if I'm purchasing a fresh type of scent or a daytime appropriate scent. Longevity is not, to me, factored into will I buy this or will I not buy this. Now if I'm reviewing a fragrance, I'm going to remove that bias and that me caring about longevity or not when I review a fragrance, because I know for a lot of you guys longevity is one of the most important things next to does the smell good, and I can definitely appreciate that sentiment. I've noticed a lot when you're talking about fragrances that are upwards to $200 or more, if it doesn't perform like a beast, a lot of people think that it is a waste of money. And although I might disagree with that to some degree, it's on a personal level. It's not on a, well, I'm going to sit here and fight you over it. I mean, I wouldn't fight you anyway. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you're wrong and try to change your mind. Because to be perfectly honest, in that case, you're right. Your money, the way that you would want to invest in a fragrance, the way that you would want to purchase this fragrance and wear this fragrance, if one of the deciding factors for you for an expensive fragrance is longevity, I'm wrong and you're right. It doesn't matter what you think or I think. That's just the way it works, which is why I always like to let you guys know the longevity when I'm reviewing a fragrance, because that might be a deciding factor for you guys if you guys want to seek out a sample or a decant or drive out of your way to a fragrance counter to try it. I want to let you guys know that this is the longevity of it. Whether or not I care about the longevity and it's something that I could completely dismiss and purchase the bottle anyway, I know for a lot of people it is very important, and I can also understand why. If you're going to spend a lot of money on a fragrance, specifically a fragrance that you're probably not going to take with you in your bag, you're going to spray and go about your day, and you want to smell good and you invested a lot of money in it, you want to make sure that that fragrance lasts on your skin for at least the entire time that you are going to be gone, or for the event that you are wearing the fragrance for. If it is a work appropriate scent, you want it to last 9 to 5. If it's a date scent, maybe you want it to last like 8 to 12, or depending on where you're going. If you're wearing a club fragrance and you want to make an impression when you're going out dancing, you want it to be very strong and you want it to last the entire night through dancing, sweating, in different environments, be if you're going outside or inside or in a car, or it doesn't matter. You need that fragrance to perform for the specific reason why you purchase that fragrance. So I guess what I'm trying to say is when it comes down to longevity, for me personally, longevity, unless it is a very expensive fragrance, $200 or more, that I'm purchasing to wear in the evening, I don't assume longevity is an issue. There are some fragrances and some houses out there that I absolutely love, that I collect, that are known to have longevity issues. And I definitely, for me, I'm buying for the scent and I don't mind reapplying. But I do think that it's really important to not diminish anybody's thoughts that if this fragrance doesn't last a long time, it's a waste of money, because for that person that is absolutely freaking true. And I think it's also really important when you are reviewing fragrances, or if you're reading reviews, to specifically look at the notes when you're looking at a fragrance that doesn't have a long longevity, because a lot of times it might have to do with what are the base notes, what are the top notes, because you might sit here and think, well, this fresh fragrance doesn't last a long time on my skin, but then the base notes don't have anything particularly that would last a long time anyway, so the composition of that scent probably wasn't designed to be a long-lasting scent. And then you might look at another scent that smells very similar and it lasts a ridiculously long amount of time on your skin, and then you look at the notes and then you look at the base notes and you're like, okay, this was designed to be a long-lasting fresh scent on the skin. But ultimately what it comes down to for me personally is that longevity isn't the hugest issue for me when it comes down to fragrance. Now, if I spray it on my skin and it's gone after 20 minutes, that's different. But if it's a scent that lasts about 2 to 3 hours on my skin and it's something that I absolutely love, I'm totally okay with investing the money in it. I'm going to give you an example of a scent that when I reviewed it, it was gone after 2 hours, and I ended up purchasing a bottle of it anyway, and it was just a few bucks over $200, and it was from Francis Kurkdjian, and it was Aqua Celestia. That fragrance on other people lasts so long. I've heard people say it lasts 10 hours on their skin. I get, if I am lucky and the weather is drier and it's not so hot, maybe 3 hours on my skin, but it's usually 1 to 2. But that scent was such a beautiful scent and it worked so well in my environment, I do not mind reapplying that scent. So for me, spending the $200 on a beautiful fragrance that I loved was okay, even though the longevity was really poor on my skin. And then there are scents that stick to your skin forever and you're like, get this off of me. Get this off of me. And you're just kind of like, it's been 48 hours, why do I still smell you? And you're just thinking to yourself like, I don't want this right now, I want something else, I'm tired of you, it's been 48 solid hours. I forget which fragrance that was, but it was a beautiful fragrance. I think it was Kirk from Tiziano Terenzi. I think I am mispronouncing everything, so I'm very sorry. But I had a luxury scent box, a little of one of those spritzer spray atomizers, and that was such a gorgeous scent, a beautiful scent. That scent was on my skin for like 48 hours, and like it was this really strong, beautiful patchouli scent. I mean, it was really intense and freaking gorgeous, like gorgeous. And that was like, it was tattooed. The scent was like tattooed on my skin. And so it got to the point where I was scared to wear it because I wore it on a slightly cooler day, but that was just too strong for hot weather, and it stayed on me so long, even through showers and baths and scrubbing. It's still, I'm like washing my hands every 10 minutes because that's practically what I do, and it was still there. And so I gave it to Tina because that's the types of scent she loves, and her skin is like a sponge. But for me, like the longevity for that one was a little bit too intense. But, you know, that's an example of a fragrance that has fantastic longevity, that smelled really amazing, but the longevity was too much, and that would make me not want to purchase it. But then this other scent, which had really poor longevity, smelled really beautiful, and it was a little bit more appropriate to where I live and the environment that I am stuck in for the time being, and also to my needs for a fresh, nice, and beautiful scent for like daytime wear. So I know I kind of like go off on weird tangents, so we're just gonna end this here, but I am going to just summarize the points I was trying to make, is I feel like longevity is rightfully very important as a deciding factor if you're going to purchase a fragrance or not. Fragrances are very expensive, and I feel like if you're going to spend luxury prices on fragrances, and I'm not talking about designer prices. Designer prices are expensive, but I think you know what luxury price fragrances are. They're $200, and even that's like on the lower end. If I find a bottle of perfume I like, it's like $200, I'm like ecstatic. I'm like, oh, that's so cheap. I'm so excited. But you know, it's like 200 to 300 to 400 to 500, you know, let's just assume it's between the 200 to 400 mark. If longevity is a big issue to you and it doesn't last on your skin, there is nothing wrong. You're not being you're not being bullying, you're not being negative, you're not being nasty, saying, that's a ripoff, I'm not gonna spend my money on that, because why would I waste my money on a fragrance that disappears after an hour? There is absolutely nothing wrong with that mindset. But there's also nothing wrong with people also feeling the opposite, saying, you know what, just because this doesn't last on my skin doesn't mean that I don't enjoy smelling the fragrance and I don't mind reapplying. So I would love to know what you guys think about longevity. The reason why I wanted to specifically talk about longevity is as we go into the summer and I review fragrances for the summer, I know it's going to be an issue that's going to come up. Not so much an issue, but a question. People are going to say, how long does this last? And as I'm reviewing fragrances, I'm going to be like, this doesn't last too long on my skin, but it's the summer. And I do know that a lot of people really care about longevity, and I think rightfully so. And I know that there's some crazy beasts out there that last forever, and then there's some fragrances out there that don't last very long. And I know that everybody has their own opinion on this, and so I kind of like topics like this and videos like this to be more of a conversation. So I would love to know what your thoughts on longevity are. For me personally, longevity is not something that I factor into when I purchase a fragrance, unless it is a specific fragrance, again, for the evening, and it's one of those like heavy, rich, complex fragrance. If I'm buying like a rose patchouli oud combo for the evening, it better last on my skin for 10 hours at least. But if I'm just purchasing a fresh, light, effervescent scent for the daytime, or if I'm purchasing a natural perfume, or if I'm purchasing a really, what's the word I'm looking for? Really inexpensive perfume, or even indie perfumes, fragrances like that, I don't factor in longevity. So that's just my take, that's my thoughts and my opinions. Again, just because I think that way does not mean that is right for you to think that way. You guys are the ultimate experts for your own skin and how you spend your money, and what is a scam and what is not a scam, and what's important and good buying factors for you. I know I'm just throwing a bunch of words together, please excuse me. But I did want to talk about this with you guys and talk about this conversation. So in any case, I'm ending the video now before I start talking in circles again. And again, let me know your thoughts below in the comments. If you like videos like this, specifically talking videos, chit-chat videos, discussions, and such, there's a thumbs up button. It lets me know to continue doing videos like this. If you do not like videos like this, there is a thumbs down button. Do not ever feel bad about pressing the thumbs down button if you do not like content like this. I take in thumbs up and thumbs downs into consideration when I decide and plan out the content I'm going to give to you. So it helps me curate and give you guys the content you like to see. So thumbs down are totally awesome. I do not care if I have a lot of thumbs down, it's totally fine. Also, do not forget to subscribe. I love seeing this channel grow, and I definitely appreciate every single one of you. You guys are amazing. And also don't forget to hit the little bell and alert you guys when new videos are up. For the next few weeks, my schedule is sporadic. I used to put up videos Monday through Friday. For the next few weeks, it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and at various times of the day. So it'll alert you guys when my videos are available and uploaded. I can't even say words right now. If you're so inclined to watch. Anyway, I'm going to end this before I embarrass myself even more. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys are all happy and healthy and have a great day, month, year, whatever. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.